for the ones who dare, for the ones who achieved something they'd never achieved before, for the one who thinks the unthinkable, who does the undoable, for the one who sacrifices a lifetime for one moment of perfection, for the one who never gives up and turns defeat into victory, for the ones who move ahead and forward, on, and make a difference in this world. The world belongs to those who dare. Allianz.
Uachtaráin Cumann Lucas Scale, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to our preview of the 2016 Allianz Football Leagues here in Croke Park. And can we take this opportunity to welcome everyone who's watching at home or maybe taking a sly peek at work. They're watching us on our webcast on ga.ie. And basically today we've got some very special guests for you to meet, and we're encouraging everyone at home who's watching online to tweet in their questions. And if you want to get in touch with our panel, and our panel today, a very distinguished group of lads. We have Denis Bastick from Dublin, we have Bryan Sheehan of Kerry, and we have two managers as well. We have Tyrone's Mickey Harte and his Cavan counterpart, Terry Hyland. So if you have a question for the lads, if you just get on Twitter and tweet your question and just include the hashtag Allianz Leagues, I'll be going through some of the best questions we have and put them to the lads very, very shortly. A few people though for you to meet before all of that, and just thinking about it on the way in here to Croke Park today, the last 12 weeks or so have really gone by so quickly. And we're in distinguished company here. I think some great GA minds, members of the media here with us today. And I wonder if they could have predicted some of the great stories that unfolded over the course of those couple of months. Roscommon and their wonderful run here to Croke Park in the semi-finals. Really great to see the Primrose and the Blue here in Croke Park. And I think Aegon of Ferrial was actually relieved that their big bus actually made it down the tunnel in Croke Park. Isn't that right, Aegon? The Dubs and Kerry in the final. I suppose not too many eyebrows raised at the fact the big two got here to the final as well. But it will be the first Division 1 final between these two since 1987. So we're all looking forward to that as well. And lots of other noteworthy performances. Tyrone and Cavan going well. Clare and Kildare in Division 3 and Louth and Antrim in Division 4. So I'd say they're all pretty satisfied with how things have gone to take them into the championship so far. Now, we've lots of members of the media here, and I know our first speaker, he wouldn't make a good journalist because he's not into any sort of risky business. Would you please welcome the Allianz Director of Risk, Mr. Aidan Hanratty.
Thank you, Darren. Uachtaráin, colleagues from the GA and Allianz, and fans turning in from around the world on ga.ie. On behalf of Allianz, I would like to welcome you all here today to Croke Park to preview the Allianz Football League Division 1 and 2 finals. I would like to extend a particular welcome to the players who have joined us here today, Bryan Sheehan from Kerry, Denis Bastick from Dublin, and the two managers who are with us here today, Mickey Harte from Tyrone and Terry Hyland from Cavan. I would like to extend a particular welcome to those who are joining us on ga.ie. Allianz is delighted to support the GA in bringing the games to a global audience. Gaelic games are one of our most valuable exports, and I encourage you to join the conversation here today using the hashtag Allianz Leagues. This year's Football League has provided some fantastic encounters across all four divisions, with two double headers at the weekend on the agenda. The best has yet to come, I believe. Over the past 23 years as sponsors, we've witnessed the games evolve and grow immensely, and with that as an organisation, Allianz has adapted, evolved and grown in Ireland, and we now employ over 1,650 people in Ireland. And our group recently celebrated 126 years in business. In that time, we have strived to serve the communities we are part of as a facilitator and enabler of those who dare to live to the fullest. Similarly, We hope that our involvement with the GAA enhances the experience of fans, players, volunteers and the media in some small way. Before I hand you back to Darren, I want to thank the GAA for their tireless promotion of the competition and encourage as many of you as possible to reserve your place here on Sunday to witness 2 unmissable games, followed by Lurcra, the spectacular celebration of our national heritage. I also like to thank the media for their insightful and expert analysis, and I finally encourage all of you, the fans turning in on the GAA.ie, to put their questions to our guests using the hashtag Allianz Leagues. With that, I'd like to extend my very best wishes and good luck to Bryan, Denis, Mickey and Terry for the games ahead. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Aidan. And what I'll also remind the people that are tuned in on GAA.e, we've got some great prizes as well, courtesy of the GAA, who are offering some tickets to the finals here on Sunday for some of the best questions that are tweeted in. And we've also got some Allianz prize packs as well. So get tweeting, and as Aidan said, just include the hashtag Allianz Leagues. Now, I think we'll all agree that the last couple of months or so in 2016 has been a fantastic year on and off the field, because we've had these wonderful 1916 celebrations. I think it's kind of gripped the whole country, hasn't it? And I think it's really fitting that this weekend, the finals we played on the very day, the exact date that the first shots of the 1916 Rising were held. And I know, talking to a few of the guys in the GAA, they've been planning this celebration, the celebration of their own, to mark this special occasion for a number of months now. And I know the GAA president, a great historian himself, is really looking forward to Sunday. So let's hear about Sunday and a reflection on the league campaign so far from the GAA president, Egon O'Farrell.
Good Darren, and thank you very much for emceeing and comparing us this morning. Welcome everybody, Fáilte Rófgo, Park and Croquig, delighted to be here. As Aidan has said, 12 weeks ago we launched the Allianz Leagues. We said at the launch that it was a great opportunity for all counties, because the Allianz Leagues, you're pitted against counties of your own standard. Everybody has a realistic chance of winning a competition here in Croke Park, and it's wonderful that we have had such a successful and a fantastic campaign. I'm also looking forward to Saturday. It's nice to see counties that we don't often get an opportunity to welcome here. We have Antrim and Louth and Clare and Kildare playing in the finals, and we wish them well. But then on Sunday is a special day. Just before I came in this morning, I've checked, we have just over 50,000 tickets sold already at the moment for Sunday. I can't predict what will happen between now and Sunday, but I would expect that figure to rise, and it's going to be probably, well, at the moment, it's true to say the largest attendance league finals possibly ever, and we're looking forward to that. It's wonderful to see it. Cavan and Tyrone bring us an all-Ulster final, and we're looking forward to seeing that. 2 counties, of course, with great traditions. Cavan very much in the past, maybe in the 40s and that era. Tyrone much more recently, but there's been great success in Cavan in the recent times, so we look forward to that. And who couldn't but enjoy looking forward to Dublin and Kerry, which will be another exciting competition. Just to mention also that our attendances have shown very positive signs. We haven't got an exact figure, but I would suspect that there's been an increase this year in our attendances. Yesterday we had 20,000 people in Thurles, for example. So it's a hugely attractive package. I want to thank Allianz for being good supporters of ours. The GAA, when Allianz joined us back in 1993, of course Ireland was a very different place, but so was the GAA, and we have seen very positive developments, very positive growth. We have close to 2,000 GAA clubs at the moment, and that is growing and that is strengthening. And our games, we're not complacent, but our games are proving hugely popular. I want to particularly thank all the players, because they are the centerpieces. That's what people come to see. And I know that it's wonderful to have the representation from the players here today, through Bryan and Denis, but all the players in this competition from all the counties that took part in the Allianz Leagues. We thank all of them and all of their engagement with us. So Goramila Mahiga Farishas Chalk New. We look forward to what will be a significant event, 24th of April, as Darren has rightly mentioned. The exact calendar date of the 1916 rebellion, and when we saw that it was the calendar date, we felt we had to do something particularly special. I want to thank the 2016 National Committee. They will be organising their own events early on that morning, and they are having their events early, so they all will be here in the afternoon attending the Allianz League finals. And we're very much delighted about that. Lercra is a special event. It will last in and around 25 minutes, half an hour. There are 3,500 participants. It is an extravagant affair. It has been produced by Tyrone Productions, who are behind the famous River Dance performance. So you can expect dance, you can expect music, and it will be a celebration. It will be a reflection, but it will also be part of the 2016 theme of reimagining for the future also. And it will be the GAA's contribution. And we're delighted that we have people from all 32 counties involved, and there are many from America and from Britain, from around the world coming home specially, and they will certainly receive a Céad Míle Fáilte, and the diaspora's input into the growth of our games will also be reflected in the performance. So we're very much looking forward to it. I want to thank TG Cahir, who will carry the Lercra event live on television. So Guramila Maka Farisha as chocked. We always look forward to finals, but it is fair to say it is special this year. And again, thanks to Allianz, thanks to everybody involved. Next weekend is going to be very, very much a memorable day, and we all will be able to say, I was there on that day. Guramai Hagaf.
Thanks very much, Eig. I'm delighted to say as well, lots of questions coming in for our panelists. So without further ado, let's invite them up. From Dublin, we've Denis Bastick, Kerry's Bryan Sheehan, and we've the management pair of Mickey Harte of Tyrone and Terry Hyland from Cavan. Let's hear it from them, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down there now and make yourselves comfortable. And just a reminder as well, if you have a question for any of the four lads, it's on Twitter. Post your question and just include Allianz Leagues, and we have prizes for the best questions. We'll also put them to the lads as well. And Mickey, I suppose as the most experienced man, we might start with you. And I was actually thinking about this over the weekend. Your first one of these launches, I think, was back in 2004. It was the start of the Allianz campaign back then. I remember working at it as a young reporter, but I was just looking over last night and doing some research on it. It was quite the lineup that particular day. There was yourself, there was a certain Dublin manager, Tommy Lyons, Bertie Ahern was here, would you believe, and Sean Kelly. So you've outlasted a lot of big names there. What's been the secret of your success?
Don't know whether this is all good to talk about how mature I have become. It shows, I suppose, that maybe people say I'm here too long, but I'm very happy to have been here and been involved in all those years. The Allianz League, I think, was very important to the development of Tyrone as a team, because I think we took it very seriously in 2003, that seriously that we won it, and we haven't won it since, mind you. But I think it's a good competition, as Aegon says here. People are pitted against teams of their own standard at that particular time, and there's aspirations for everybody to reach the top level that they can in that division. So I think the Allianz support has made it a very important competition, and they've been very loyal supporters of the competition over all those years. So it's great that they're getting a big day in the sun now on this up and coming Sunday. No,
absolutely. Terry, how do you feel about facing into this man again, Mickey Harte, on Sunday?
Well, Tyrone are always difficult opponents, but look, we faced them earlier in the year and there was only a couple of points in it, and hopefully it'll be a good close game again this weekend. We're happy to be promoted to Division 1 of the Allianz Leagues going forward, and we have the bonus of playing in a final against Tyrone, who've been good strong rivals to Cavan in the last 10 years, and there have always been close games. I don't think there's been an awful lot in it, and we look forward to the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the questions are flooding in. We have a question here for the dub here. It's from Owen Byrne, and he's asking you, Denis, 21 games unbeaten in league and championship. He wants to know if there's extra motivation to keep that run going.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for momentum, and that's what Dublin have right now at the moment. So, it is a bit of a cliche, but it's only one game at a time. We're not looking back on those 21 games, but we're looking forward to Sunday. But definitely as a team and as a group, winning becomes a habit, and that's the phase that we're in right now. And we continually try and improve, and we continue and try and get better, but we'll be hoping to continue on that run going forward.
Yeah, Bryan, do you know who the last team to beat them was?
I think we beat him in the league last
year.
Yeah.
Would you like to repeat the performance? That must be motivation for you guys, is it, to end this run, is it?
I wouldn't say it's motivation to end the run at the winning streak of Dublin, but I think more so for ourselves is that they've beaten us the last couple of years, and it'd be nice to put probably a stop to that. But I think more importantly, look, it's a league final, and every time you come to Croke Park, you want to win, and especially when there's silverware at the end of the day. I think we really want to win it, and I just think it really set us up nicely for the league or for the championship going forward if we were to to win on Sunday.
Yeah, sure. Mickey, there's a question here from Niall McCoy from Gaelic Life. He wants to know if you have an update on Darren McCurry and also Niall Morgan, or any other injuries heading into this final at the weekend.
That's a handy one there. Could he not travel down this morning? Well, I mean, Darren McCurry's injury probably isn't as bad as we thought at first, but he still hasn't trained fully with the team since. Niall Morgan's hand's broken, so obviously he won't be playing in this game, and it'll be a hard push if he'll even be considered for the championship at this stage. Well, other than that, I suppose there's long-term injuries that have been there. Ronan McNabb did his cruciate last year. Peter Harte injured his shoulder in the first minute against Armagh. We're still concerned about him in particular, but we're hopeful that he might be able to be some part of the game on Sunday.
Niall's also asking you, are you expecting a similar sort of game to the one that you guys had at Healy Park already, or will Croke Park, with the pitch there, will it mean it might be a bit more attacking?
Well, I suppose it's going to be different anyway. It's a final. It's Croke Park. It's the place to play quality football. I mean, we were playing 31st of January, I think our last game was, and you can imagine the conditions at that time of year, and so I think the conditions have changed. Both teams have progressed since that time, and I think it'll be a very good game of football. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of nice, handy questions, we have one here for Terry. This one's come in a lot, Terry. I'm sure you're anticipating this one. This one's from Sean McCaffrey, who's with Northern Sound. Shawnee Kavanagh, how important has his return to the Cavan Fold been for you guys?
I presume it's Shawnee Johnson.
Shawnee Johnson. You wouldn't mind Shawnee Kavanagh.
Sean, if he was a come player, he's quite welcome.
There you go, Mickey.
That's a real story there, isn't it? Is he going to play hurling for his first?
We only have a minor hurling team, so in fairness, Sean has come back and has done well. I know it probably is more a media story than anybody else. In fairness, Sean has come back and he has worked hard and he has been part of the group, and things have gone well for him. The group has gone well as well. So hopefully he'll be fit to take part here on Sunday. Again, like that, he picked up a hamstring injury and he's only on his way back in. But he has played a major part in us getting us here. But so was all the other players. So we don't really like to single out anybody in particular.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions coming in about Shawnee, and there's one here from Shane Brady, and he wants to know if it was a difficult decision for you to bring him back into the fold.
Well, it wasn't really, I suppose, it was a matter as though the two of us sat down and had a chat, and we seen what the benefits were going to be for both of us, and there was the downside, of course, where you were going to have the media attention and how that was going to be handled. And to be fair, he's an amateur player, and all these lads are all the same. So they are going out and they're playing sport. Is what they want to do, and we have a duty, as management, to try and protect them from maybe too much from the media circles. They don't get paid to play; they go out and play for the pure enjoyment of it. And Sean is no different than any other footballer; he just wants to play ball.
Yeah, have we seen the best of him yet in this league, or does he need a few more games, maybe?
Well, we have one left on Sunday. Hopefully he'll take part in that. Sean has still, he has a couple of years of football still left him at inter-county level if he can just stay injury-free.
Okay, a couple for our players here, for Denis and Bryan. This actually one is for both of you. It's from Tim. He's been in touch and he just wants to know, could you ask Kerry and Dublin if they were surprised at the ease of their semi-final wins over Roscommon and Donegal? Do you want to take that one, Denis?
Yeah, I suppose for us, we had played Donegal 2 weeks prior to that. We'd done a lot of homework on them at that stage. That game was a tough game, and I think we learned a lot from that, particularly the way that panned out, and we were able to revisit, I suppose, our homework that we'd done, and we were able to tweak a few things, and I think we improved a lot from the previous 2 weeks to the following game. So yeah, we were surprised, I suppose, in the score in the end, but our performance, I think that's what got us through. We upped it a bit, and it paid off then on the day.
Yeah, and what about your match against Roscommon?
Yeah, we certainly were surprised by the end result, to be honest, but I think we had maybe that bit of a motivation factor going into the fact they had beaten us in the league in Killarney, and I say we are very proud down in Kerry about winning our home games, and that probably didn't sit nicely with us. So from our point of view, that was probably an extra factor going forward into the semi-final. I just think we maybe got off to a good start. The 3 early goals in the first half really settled us down, and I think that really kind of set us up for the game. But in fairness to Roscommon, they knuckled into the second half and they kind of took over in the middle of the field and put us under pressure. But I think the 3 goals probably at the start of the game helped us settle this.
Another one here for you, actually, Bryan, is from Michael, and he just wants to know, you kind of touched on this one already, just given the last couple of showings against Dublin in the league and championship, and he just wants to know, like, is it important for you to set the record straight?
I wouldn't say it's important to set the record straight. Look, you want to win every game you play, regardless of who you're playing. You always want to win it, and look, it would be nice to beat Dublin, and probably more so the fact it is a final. We won't lie about that. We're very hurt over losing the All-Ireland final last year and having not beat them in the last couple of times we played them in championship. But look, at the end of the day, it's a league final, Allianz League final. There's silverware up for grabs, and whoever you're playing, and that day you would just want to beat them and win it. And I suppose the fact it is Dublin probably that extra bit of spice for us.
Okay, one for you, Denis. It's from James Walsh, and he just wants to know how big a loss has Jack McCaffrey and Rory O'Carroll been to the panel this year?
None so far, anyway. Yeah, but no, let's be honest, they're two fantastic players.
Early days.
Early days, exactly. No, we were sad to see them go, but everyone makes up their own mind. We're trying to focus on the players that we have now in the group and we have going forward. They're big shoes to fill, but as a team, that's what it's all about. It's about the panel of players that we have, and it's about each guy being able to step up to the plate. And I think if we can keep it at that stage where guys are going to get injured or different things going to happen throughout the year, we need to have the whole panel there ready to step in and take over, and that's what we've done this year. And that's what it's about, the team as a whole. So thankfully enough, it's worked out well so far, but obviously bigger tests ahead for the year, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, Mickey Paul has tweeted in a question for you. He just wants to know, what have you learned about your team this year from Division 2 of the Allianz League?
Well, I suppose we've learned that we can play very good football from time to time, and other times we're not just quite at the standard we'd like to be at. So it's about getting that consistency across a longer period of time is the challenge that's for us there now. I think in many games we were in a good position and maybe let us slip a bit. And that's after the early games when it was tight going. But we had a few games we were in a good position and didn't finish the game out. And I suppose that we have to ask questions of ourselves too. We were already qualified for the final. We had 2 league games to play. We didn't win any of those 2 games. So we have to learn a bit about that as well, about the desire to win when it appears that it appears like maybe complacency or something might have set in. But so we have to learn to be more consistent across the 70 minutes or whatever's in it. And if we learn that and can apply that learning as the season goes on, that will serve us well. Okay,
and there's another one here from Geraldine Dolan, and she wants to know, what does Mickey and the panel think of Cavan this year? So what have you made of them from your experiences?
Well, I've said it already before. I mean, I think the start that they had, it's been amazing that they've actually come to qualify for this final and get promotion, because if I had been in the position where we'd lost our first 2 games, I would have been saying that's promotion gone. But Cavan didn't do that, and they were unfortunate. I suppose they lost to ourselves by 2 points. Could have won the game. I think they lost to Derry by only a point. Could have won that game as well. That could have deflated them as a unit and saying, this is not our season. So I think they deserve a lot of credit for the fact that they had to do very well in their last 5 games to be here, and they've managed that. So I think they're in a very good place at the minute, and I hope that we can get ourselves into that place too.
Okay, Terry, a bit of a roller coaster this season for you. After those 2 games, what were you feeling? What were you telling the lads?
Well, I suppose the break come at a good time, after the Derry game, and we had 2 tough weeks of training, and I think the lads realised that, there was more in them, and again, as Denis says, there's cliches always used in sport, and it's the belief factor that, they just had to back that up. I mean, they had the skill sets, and now they were playing good enough football, but maybe just sometimes they weren't just backing themselves to finish out a score or finish out a move, whatever it was, and we got that going. And at half time in the Meath game, people thought we were gone. I think we were 7 points down in that game, and people felt that we weren't going to come back in it. But it probably was one of the calmest dressing rooms I've ever been in again, because we felt we had produced the chances in that, and again it was only a matter of turning those chances into scores on the scoreboard. And we do a lot of statistics in GA and in sport, and the biggest statistic I always say is the scoreboard at the end of the game, and that's the one you have to look at, and we've been lucky in the last 5 games that has been a positive statistic.
One for both of you actually. This one is from Brendan Fitz, and he's just wondering, with promotion in the bag already, does it really matter who wins the Division 2 title on Sunday?
Of course it does. When you're in any final, the Allianz League final to me is as important as any other McKenna Cup or Ulster Championship or All-Ireland. If you're in finals, you want to win them. There's a trophy to be handed out at the end of it, and there is a lot of significance. If you don't care about not winning finals, then you'll probably not win many of them.
Terry?
Yeah, but we would be like that. We don't have much silverware probably on the table in Cavan in the last number of years, and we always have told the lads, even at underage level, like, you need to win something, you have to have something tangible, something that you can touch and feel. Like, you know, if you have an Allianz League medal going down next year, you can say, well, you can revert back to that and say, well, that's that banked, and you can start building on that. And, you know, it's very important for people in sport. They all tell you about us competing, but in the end of the day, I suppose it's all about winning.
Yeah. Denis, there's a lot of questions. Obviously, I think it's kind of a subject we've all been talking about over the last few weeks about, you know, Dublin have such a great array of talent in the squad at the moment. But there's a question here from James Hendicott from the Dublin Gazette. He's just wondering which young Dublin players are you expecting to make, you know, they've done well in the league, but could make an impact in the championship as well.
It's very difficult to.
Is it unfair to single any lads out?
I think it is. You know, you've seen the guys that we've used 35 players in the National League, and all of them have stood up to the plate, and, you know, being able to come in and cope there at that level. I suppose the more regulars there, you have the likes of Davy Byrne has come in at full back for us, Eric Lowndes in at wing back. You know, they've had a good run in the league, so, you know, I think it's important, even though how tough it is for the next gen or the younger guys to continue on coming into the team, and that's just makes it tougher again for the rest of us. But it is important always to be bringing through those younger guys, even though they're harder to catch in training than some of the other guys.
You're using all your experience though, aren't you?
Trying to, yeah. But no, it's difficult to single out anyone, but it's a great bonus for us to have this.
A question for both of you. Dublin and Kerry in the final, obviously for the first time since 1987. Ryan wants to know if either Denis or Bryan remember that game. Is that a bit before your time?
I don't.
Maybe not, Denis.
I was only 2 years of age, so.
What age were you?
I was 6.
No. Is it exciting still? Do you still get a thrill that it's Dublin and Kerry, the two of you, when you meet up for each other?
I think so. You know, I know a lot of the rivalry and stuff. A lot of that goes on outside with, you know, the fan supporters, the press, the media, and stuff like that. So, but as team internally, I think there is an extra bit of bite there, you know. And I think the reason is because we're coming up against the best team in the country, you know, and I think that's added to it, and that's why there's that extra bit of go from both teams involved, because you know, we want to play. We'd like to play Kerry every weekend and see how we get on, and, you know, and test ourselves and try and improve ourselves and get better, and that's how you do it, by playing the best teams around.
He's talking you up, Ryan.
The best team around, I think. It's pretty easy to say it's Dublin. They're all Ireland champions. But look, yeah, there is a bite to it, and as I say, it is Kerry Dublin. It has the history that has gone in the past, and I think even more so in the last couple of years that we have rubbed shoulders and have been competing. But it is exciting. There's no line about it. And look, I think it's important to say, look, that the boys mentioned already, when you're sighting the league final or you're sighting in any final, they're self-aware on the table. You want to win it, and I suppose the fact it is Kerry and Dublin just adds up a spice to it. Yeah.
What about our two managers? Have you got to see much of Dublin and Kerry this season, or we push you for a prediction in the Division 1 final, Mickey?
Yeah, we've seen too much of them. They're both progressing very well, I suppose. Dublin are the champions and have played like champions, but I think Kerry have actually come back very strong. Some new faces coming in there, and some of them actually not that young. I see one or two faces in the forward line that just are not out of minor age either, and they're looking very strong. Kieran Donaghy's playing great football again, and they have a lot of options. Kerry have a lot of options at the minute, and they've got obviously the tradition and the belief. So I think this is going to be a classic final, because I can see that Dublin have got this winning run going. They're in a very good place and have been for a number of years now. But I'm sure you're well aware Kerry don't take beatings too well, and they don't get that many of them because of that. So I think that, you know, they're due to have a bit of a bite in them again. So I think we're in for one hell of a final here, and not going to sit on the fence and say who do I think will win it or not. But I think Kerry have more desire to win this game than Dublin at the minute.
There you go, Denis. You can pass that on to Jim.
No comment.
Terry, what about you? How do you call this Division 1 final?
Yeah, well, both teams seem to have gone in on a very even keel. I think, okay, Dublin have had a very good run in the National League, but Kerry had a good run in the latter part of it there, and put up some good high scores and battled hard in games. And I've seen some of the games, it was more championship feel in some of their games probably than maybe in Allianz League type games. But I'm probably going to go with a draw, just because Egan is the president and he likes to have a crowd back here again for another day. So.
I think that's called sitting on the fence, Terry. We have one here from Mick, and I guess getting back to the younger players, and you know, Sunday's going to be an amazing occasion. I think there's going to be a huge crowd here, and we're all looking forward to it. I think working at it and also viewing it. But Mick has just sent a message into us, and he was just wondering how important is it for some of your younger players to experience this occasion of playing, you know, in front of a big crowd here in Croke Park.
Well, I suppose the only way you get experience is getting to here, and you know we have been here a few times at underage 11 the last number of years, and I know people make a big thing about the Croke Park factor, and it is with teams coming in, but you know we try to encourage lads to look within the environs of the pitch that they're playing on, and that's the stage that they have to perform on. And we've said this on numerous occasions. You know what I mean? It's a stage. It doesn't matter whether it's Croke Park or Kingspan Breffney Park or whether it's in Killarney or Tralee or wherever it is, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference. I think to the players, I think what they have to focus on is their game and their game plan and how they carry that out. And obviously there will be a certain amount of nervousness to that, but you know what I mean? I think if they concentrate on their skill sets and get out and you know look to what they want to get at the end of the day, I don't think the crowd should be a major factor.
Yeah, okay. There's a question here from Deirdre Fagan. This actually has come in a good few times, and she's just wondering, in terms of the overall league, what young player has impressed you most this season? Not necessarily your own county.
Well, again, look at you know, sometimes maybe when you're in management, you're kind of looking into your own camp more so than maybe looking at other people. From our own point of view, I thought Roinn McKerna had a very, very good year for us in particular. You know, when you look at probably the opposition, and I suppose when you look at maybe, and I know Peter Harte hasn't played that much probably for Tyrone this year, but you know I would pick him out as being one of the top players in Division 2 in the Allianz League when he has come on and played in that. We inclined, I suppose, to concentrate on our own, and I don't really like naming out many players from other teams because it kind of takes maybe away sometimes from what we're trying to achieve ourselves as managers in our own group.
Okay, and what about you, Mickey? Is there anyone that's caught your eye outside of your camp?
Well, obviously the teams that are more on television catch your eye. You don't always get to their games, but obviously Kerry and Dublin, there's players to watch there. I think Paul Murphy has made a really big impact on Kerry this year, being a wing half back and got an all-star at that position. And I think he's excelling at centre half forward now, which is amazing. The transition he's made and how good and how effective he's been for that team. So I think he's definitely stood out, and I'd say he's still a young man too. And I suppose Dublin, with the return of Paul Mannion, and Cormac Costello, they have players who have been around at minor level and have been on and off the team for a variety of reasons. Paul Mannion was away for a year there, so he's come back. He's a very strong young player now, physically very strong. So I think there's lots of potential there to add to the enormous stuff that they had already anyway. So I think that's where the young players that I've been impressed with and what I've seen on television.
And just to get you to pick up on that one, Brian, has that switch from kind of defence to attack for Paul, has that been seamless, or what can you tell us from what you've seen in training?
No, actually, Paul plays a lot of his football with the club Rackmore and centre forward.
Okay.
And you know, I think in the county championship they went to the semi-final where they lost to Legion, and I think he scored 1-3 in the quarter-final, and I think he scored 1-3 again in the O'Donoghue Cup semi-final against Legion as well. So he obviously plays a lot of football there with the club, but you know, Paul is a footballer. He could play Paul anywhere. He's that kind of fella. You know, he could play him corner back or corner forward, and you know, Mark O'Shea is probably a similar player as well. He does a great football brain, works very hard, and you know, he's just a great outlet for us, and he's just like a little bundle of energy. He just keeps on going and going, and he's a massive player for us, really.
There's a question in here from Jack, actually, Denis. He wants to know if you've had any great battles with this man beside you. You want to dish any dirt on him?
No dirt, no. It's been fair, shoulder to shoulder most of the time. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes the timing is a bit wrong, but the referee doesn't always see it. But no, we've actually come up against each other a few times. All right, so it's a bit odd sitting down beside being friendly here today. Once what we said down below, like once we cross the line, it's a different story, and that's what's great about the sport and about the GAA. You know, we can all sit up here and have a conversation, but it's serious business when we go down there on Sunday.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks for being with us here today, this afternoon. Really appreciate it, and the very best luck to all four of you in the finals here at the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, Denis, Bryan, Mickey and Terry. And thanks once again to everyone who's watching on GA.ie, and we have some prizes to give out a little bit later on. We will be in touch. We've got some tickets for the big game here on Sunday in Croke Park. Should be a wonderful occasion. Live coverage on the television on TG Cahir, and we'll have also radio coverage on Radio 1 on Sunday Sport. From everyone here at Croke Park, goodbye for now. See you next time.
be easy. It won't be easy to rise in the silence or fall in the hush. Nothing comes easy. Not here, not now, not ever. If you're going to be there, then be there all the way. And know that every moment from that to this was worth it. Every tackle, every shout, every score, every sacrifice. Because everything you were meant to be, everything you know you are, is already there. The Allianz Leagues. Be there all the way.
For the ones who dare. For the ones who achieved something they'd never achieved before. For the one who thinks the unthinkable, who does the undoable. For the one who sacrifices a lifetime for one moment of perfection. For the one who never gives up and turns defeat into victory. For the ones who move ahead and forward, on, and make a difference in this world. The world belongs to those who dare. Allianz.